If the wasted hours on TikTok that melt your days away isn't bad enough, it might just be a Trojan horse that helps China win the new Cold War. My name's Trevor Miller from Cherry Hill Private Wealth. This week we're going to talk about TikTok, the first home savings account, as well as dive in a little bit into daylight savings. In a world where the two major US parties disagree on everything, it's almost refreshing to see them united in their views on at least something. And of course, it was social media that brought them together. Unfortunately, however, it wasn't that the Republicans and the Democrats started liking each other's Instagram posts. No, it was over the mutual distrust of the Chinese social media platform TikTok. We've seen instances in the past where social media platforms playing a role in politics, misinformation, and propaganda. This time, however, US lawmakers are concerned that the issues are coming from a country in which relations are already pretty tense. TikTok is owned by the Chinese company ByteDance, who has been accused of spreading Chinese propaganda, suppressing content critical of the Chinese government, and censoring topics deemed sensitive to the Chinese Communist Party. They now control the content that over 150 million Americans, as well as hundreds of millions of users around the world, devour every single day.
Hi everyone, it's Shou here. I'm the CEO of TikTok. I'm here in Washington, D.C. today, and I have some news and updates to share with everyone here. Today, I'm super excited to announce that more than 150 million Americans are on TikTok. That's almost half of the US.
On top of that, they're collecting countless items of data from all their users, including personal information and their preferences and what they like. With the ease of dissemination of information, there's a growing concern that social media platforms such as TikTok can manipulate its users without them even realizing it. And one recent study found that conspiracy theories are more easily spread through social media than through other types of communication. And this, we just devour this type of information so quickly. So it makes a lot of sense. We only need to look back to 2016 and the US presidential election to find Russia's involvement in spreading misinformation to voters in that instance, and there's countless other times that this has happened. Even looking at TikTok specifically, just back in 2019, leaked documents revealed that they were censoring videos that mentioned Tiananmen Square as well as Tibetan independence. There were reports that TikTok removing content critical of the CCP in countries around the world as well. So it wasn't just inside China, it was all around the world where this misinformation was being spread. The Biden administration, the intelligence community, and lawmakers say that they worry that data collected could be weaponized by the Chinese state. Apprehensions stem from the Chinese law, which obliges any company or citizen to turn over information in the event of a national security threat. But according to the South China Morning Post, the Chinese law prohibits foreign data from being turned over in this manner. In 2020, the head of the Chinese mission to the EU said, "We never asked Chinese companies to break the laws of host countries by handing overseas data to the Chinese government." With Congress looking to force ByteDance's hand and to have companies sold to an American company, TikTok is looking to move all user data to servers owned by software giant Oracle. All US data would be managed then by US employees and run independently of ByteDance. Whatever ends up happening, there are now millions of companies, individuals who have turned to TikTok to promote their business and really create a living through this media. It has literally changed how entire industries operate, how we live, eat, watch, and buy. Republican Mark Pocan of Wisconsin said that the real problem is that Congress doesn't have a lot of expertise, whether it be social media or that of technology for that matter. Scary thing is he might actually be right. With the drastic change in technology, AI coming out, new social media platforms and softwares, having a bunch of old, out of touch senators and congressmen trying to make laws on this could really be disastrous. Canadians looking to purchase a first home just got a new account that might help them get there quicker. With rising home prices and the barrier to entry being higher than it has ever been before, the first home savings account might just help them get there quicker. Up until April 1st, 2023, so just a couple weeks ago, the best option to save for the purchase of your first home was by using the home buyer's account. This option inside a typical RSP gave you up to $35,000 to use towards the purchase of your first home. You could save the money inside the RSP, then take advantage of the tax refunds and have some money left over for a home purchase. This money was essentially a loan to yourself and you had to pay the money back or there'd be taxes owing down the line. The first home savings account, or FHSA, is going to be great for purchasing that first home, and institutions will have access to open this account as of a couple weeks ago, but you should really see them coming available throughout the year. The FHSA, we love our acronyms, and this one's a really easy one for me to say, acts a little bit like an RSP and a little bit like a TFSA. Any contributions to the FHSA are treated much like an RSP, and that they are tax deductible. If you use this to purchase your first home, like a TFSA, the withdrawals aren't taxed. So unlike the home buyer's plan, you never have to pay this money back. There will be a $40,000 contribution limit with yearly limits of $8,000. The yearly limits do carry forward. So if you aren't able to maximize your contributions in year one, you can make up the contributions in later years. An important thing to note on this is that the contribution room only starts when you open your first FHSA. There are some interesting opportunities around this as well if you're able to move money from an RSP to the FHSA and vice versa without affecting your RSP contribution limits. This account has several benefits over the homebuyer's plan, like you can put money in today and use it tomorrow, while the funds have to be in the RSP for at least 90 days prior to the withdrawal to utilize that homebuyer's plan. If you or someone you know is saving up for their first home, or you're just a renter that might have no intention of purchasing a home, this program is something you should probably talk to your advisor about. Daylight savings time has been in use for more than 100 years, but do the pros really outweigh the cons? This might be one of the most controversial lighter sides that we ever have. So on the pro side, it does create longer evenings. By changing the time the sun rises and sets, there's a theory that it motivates people to get out and do things like play golf, go for a run, and play sports like soccer and baseball. Arguers say that it may counteract the sedentary lifestyle of modern living. And the tourism industry also profits from brighter evenings by giving people more time to go shopping, hang out on patios, as well as other events that can boost local economies. When it was first introduced more than a century ago, more daylight was a good thing because it meant less use of artificial lights and more energy savings. A con, on the other side, is that it's been noted that it no longer conserves energy the same way it used to. In modern society, with computers, TV screens, air conditioning units, we use the same amount of energy basically no matter whether the sun is up or not. So the total amount of energy saved from daylight savings time is really negligible. Another big con is that it could really make people sick. Changing the time, if only for an hour, disrupts our body clocks and our circadian rhythm. For most people, the resultant is just simply tiredness, which is just a minor inconvenience. For some, however, the time change could have more serious consequences to their overall health. Studies link the lack of sleep at the start of daylight savings time to car accidents, workplace injuries, suicide, and even miscarriages. The early evening darkness after the end of daylight savings period is also linked to depression. On the pro side, the more light, the safer we typically are. Safety is one of the more solid arguments in keeping the lighter evenings of daylight savings time. Studies have found that daylight savings time contributes to improved road safety by reducing pedestrian fatalities by 13% during dawn and dusk hours. And if you're one of the ones that just absolutely hates daylight savings times, you should also be very happy that you're not living in Lebanon this year, because the current prime minister agreed to delay the daylight savings time so that Muslims could break their fast earlier during the holy month of Ramadan. Problems, however, arose when Christian authorities defied the order and changed their clocks as usual on the last Sunday of March. Many businesses, media outlets, and educational institutions also followed suit, leaving people living in one of the smallest countries in the Middle East struggling to deal with two different time zones. And not only just in the country, but even inside many of their cities, there was multiple time zones happening there. So no matter what side of the coin you fall on, there's many arguments on both sides to keep or do away with daylight savings time. And we can go on, but only time will tell if the century-old tradition will leave our clocks well enough alone and deal with the seasons as they unfold. Well, that does it for this week's newsletter. Hopefully you enjoyed and got something interesting out of this. If you know somebody that is going to start looking for a home, let them know that first-time home savings account is a really good opportunity for them. Let them have a chat with their financial advisor or reach out to us and we can help point them in the right direction. Until next week, talk to you soon. Bye.